everybody? It's your girl, Steph.
Oh, it's your girl, Mike K. Sorry, I was rolling the wood.
This bitch is not prepared. Welcome to Sweet 20s. Welcome to the second official episode of the brand new Sweet 20s. Okay. So, let's get straight into it. As you all know, Sweet 20s is all about sex, politics, health, and daily 20s, living struggles, etc. So for today, we're going to touch on politics. We're going to touch every single branch for our first few episodes. And today, really, in short, we're talking microaggressions. Microaggressions in the workplace, microaggressions at school, microaggressions in social environments, microaggressions from even people that you fuck with. Like, just microaggressions in general. How they make us feel, how we react to them, why do we react the way we do, and just really expanding on motherfucking racism, bitch ass. Ugh, sick ass motherfucker.
Be sick as fuck.
Yeah, man. So let's get into it. Well, I kind of want to do a check-in. Okay. I kind of want to do a quick check-in.
Right.
I'm in a shitty mood. I've been in a bad mood. I don't know. I'm just a salty ass bitch recently. I don't know why. I did just go to a protest in DC. Shout out to the immigrant community, and that shit was lit as fuck. Shout out to todo el pueblo, la fuerza del pueblo, increíble. The power of the people is amazing. It was beautiful to see a community that is told to be quiet, or is told throughout generations that we should be quiet, stay in the shadows because we're scared of the repercussions by being undocumented immigrants and, you know, don't speak up, don't say nothing. And then to be out in the motherfucking, like, capital of this wicked ass country and fucking yelling and demanding our fucking human rights. That shit is amazing because, you know, our people are learning your voice is what you have. Like, fucking use that. Don't be silenced. They want you to think they should be quiet. They want you to stay in the shadows so that you don't make a motherfucking riot. But no, we are undocumented. By all means, come and demand what the fuck we deserve.
Power to the people.
Power to the people. Oh, I kind of got a little...
No, I feel it. I'd be like, yes.
I got a little heated. I got a little, you know, my heart rate started going up. My heart rate started going up.
As you should. You should be mad. And if the shit doesn't make you mad, there's a problem.
Exactly. I'm willing to die for this shit. Shout out K. Dot. I've said that so many times. I fucking love that. Anyway, no, for real. So, you know, it's correlated to what we're talking about. Racism in general. And we're fucking tired of that shit, man. I think we should start off. I've been talking a lot. You know, I did my check-in. Go ahead. You want it? Well.
We didn't hear that shit.
I know they heard that shit.
Honestly, I've been chilling.
I smelt that. That burp stank.
Fuck you.
Oh, we're in a new recording environment. I had to move. So the ceilings are a lot higher, and I live on a very busy street near the downtown area. So if you hear motorcycles, sirens, cars, etc., my fridge going off in the back, that's why. So anyway, you're checking. Bro, I'm so disrespectful. I really just be cutting you off.
Bro, I be chilling. Like, you know, if I'm mad, I don't be mad for long. If I'm sad, I don't be sad for too long. Like, I be like, damn, you still gotta wake up and do this shit all over again. Ain't no time to dwell on it.
Meanwhile, I'm in the gutter 24/7. Look at me right now. I look terrible. We should really start recording these things because, bruh. Oh, no.
Bruh.
I gotta put the DND on. Anyway, do your check-in, girl.
I'm just saying, like, I just be chilling. And being in this pandemic is not like go do too much. I go to work. I come home. I hang out with a few friends. That was me before the pandemic, though. So let me not try to make it seem like I'm any different. This shit gave me an excuse not to go nowhere. So,
for real. Well, the one of the big reasons we wanted to have this conversation was last night we were hanging out with some friends, and the conversation was fire. I asked twice if I could pull out. I was like, oh, damn, I should have pulled out a microphone and just recorded an episode. But they never really said yes or no. So,
but I feel like
I didn't do it.
Our conversation was already, like, in we was in the thick of our conversation.
It was,
so,
but shit, I would have pulled that microphone out really quickly, set it up. Like, y'all just keep talking.
Hey, all we had to do was hold the mic, fucking putting up the
Like,
stand.
I was actually really ready to do that. I was, like, real interview shit. Oh, and how did that make you feel?
No, because like, that conversation, like having everybody's different standpoints.
It was nice.
Yeah, and especially different work environments and like different fields on top of that.
Totally different fields.
Yeah.
Healthcare to engineering, from like direct care to like indirect care almost, to case management. Like, yeah. But, okay, that was loud. Sorry, you guys. Okay. Let's give them some examples. Okay, so yeah, y'all. So we really weren't prepared for today's episode. Our timeline's kind of like all over the place, so that's how this episode's gonna go.
You never tell people you're not prepared.
Oh,
You're
I'm gonna let them know.
You're just supposed to come in like you know what you're doing.
Oh, I still act like I know what I'm doing, and it's still gonna be good. But y'all not about to be like, oh, she's unorganized. Yeah, bitch, I'm gonna call that out before you ever try to make fun of me. Call me on my shit.
Our conversations be all the way.
It's always
everywhere
all over the
anyway,
place,
so.
as we're doing right now.
Okay.
The reason we want to talk about this is so that, one, you bitches stop doing it, i.e. white people.
I don't know. I done had some microaggressions from like black people too, but
all people.
I was gonna say something shady. I'm not even gonna do it.
Don't even do. You know, we have racism instilled into us. Technically, we can't be racist as minorities, but we can still definitely be prejudiced. But okay, we're going into some other shit. But basically, like, cut this shit out. Become more aware of the microaggressions. Like, that shit is not cool. What is a microaggression, Micaiah?
Microaggressions are basically like indirect little things that happen on a daily basis. Maybe not
Racially fueled comments, actions that are racist, prejudiced, discriminatory in some sort of way. Yeah.
And they happen on like a smaller, like personal level than like macroaggressions.
It's like little shit, like that was low-key a backhanded comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have an example, and I'll never forget this shit, and it still pisses me off to this day. So I worked at a center that was predominantly filled with children that were black and brown. And one day, this kid it was his birthday, and his mom was the type of woman, it's a Latinx woman, type of woman that really celebrated her child. Granted, this is basically school for them, even though it's a clinic.
Yeah.
And mind you, they have autism, and so it's whatever. So it was his birthday. Mom brings in like all these like candy bags. This is a traditional thing, especially like in the Latinx culture, or at least the Mexican culture. Like you gonna have a fucking goodie bag filled with candy.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you already know. So Mom brings in a cake. She brings goodie bags for the kids. She brings goodie bags for all the fucking therapists, including like the BCBAs, everybody, right? This mom is putting money into that shit, whether it's cheap-ass candy or fucking king-size candy. She's putting time and effort into this for everyone to enjoy and celebrate her child. One bitch had the goddamn audacity to be like, what the fuck did she say? I can't even remember now. She said some shit like, it's just his birthday. What? Oh, no. So again, they're Latinx, and so a lot of our candy, at least the Mexican candy, it tends to be spicy and sweet, and it's got a little bit of everything in it. So she said some shit like, oh, is the cake also gonna be spicy? Or I swear to God, she said some other shit that was way off the wall, but it's been so long ago, and I also have a terrible memory. But she really said some shit that I should have walked out that room like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, that was fucked up. One, that was disrespectful because his mom is doing this for him. And second, bitch, you just talked about my culture. Like, I really could go straight to HR and be like, get your bitch, because she's got me fucked up, and she's got him fucked up, and every fucking kid in this center saying some shit like that. No possum. It
goes also for like one of our BCBAs, like, what the fuck, they're fellows. Like, we had a fellow, he's had, like, I've experienced multiple microaggressions with him. One time he asked me, I had the faux locks in, and he was like, how much of this is your real hair? How much of this is your hair? I looked at him and I was like, None. No, I went none of it, motherfucker. If you want to know, it's my hair's put up. Like, and it ain't none of your damn business. I said none of it's mine.
I said, I would've, that's my fucking hair, bitch.
But my thing is, my shit down my back. Either way it goes. So I don't give a fuck what you talking about. So I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. So I was like, I said none of it. Because ain't none of it. None of my hair's out. None of it's my hair.
What'd he say?
He turned to the next girl, goes, how much of that is your hair?
Oh, no.
She goes, all of it, and walks away. Like, all of it? I'm like, you go. Because my thing is, none of it was my hair. So I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say none of it. I bought it. I mean, technically, I bought it. So it's my hair. But
if I have a wig on and it's on my head, that's my hair.
True.
I paid for it.
But then we were sitting in the room with one of my coworkers.
That's like getting titties and then somebody asking you how much of those titties are yours. All of it.
I guess you're right.
That was extreme.
It is a little bit, but I get what you're saying because, like, why does it matter to you?
Exactly.
And so he was in the room with me and one of my coworkers doing a consult, and we started having a conversation. I didn't know that one of the kids' last name wasn't his full last name, like, because, you know, ours is abbreviated. So I didn't know. And he was like, yeah, it's this. And he was like, he goes on to tell a story, and he's like, yeah, like, I had a kid, and the kid's Latinx, and he goes, I had a kid. It pisses me off. He's like, long ass, ugly name. And I looked at him, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, you're fucking kidding. Because you can't say the shit, but you can say sniffleupagus and all this other shit, huh? Like,
I couldn't even say his fucking last name.
His last name was ugly as hell, and you got the fucking nerve.
Bro,
you bitch.
So for reference, you all, I think it's really important to tell y'all that both of these individuals, the woman I was speaking of, she's a woman higher up in the hierarchy of this workplace, right? Mm-hmm. This is a person in power, if you will. Same thing with the individual she's talking about. He's below this other woman, but he's on his way to be in the same position as this woman. These are the individuals that are making the behavioral plans for these black and brown children. Mm-hmm. These are the individuals that are technically supposed to be providing, you know, culturally competent care. And they're saying shit like this. And that's the motherfucking issue. That this shit is very fucking common. It happens all the time. And it's coming from these high positions. And then you hit a fucking dilemma because you're like, damn, I really want to call you out on your shit. Like, that was fucked up. And as we were talking about last night, then you kind of fear because you're like, you are above me. Mm-hmm. How is this going to backlash on me for calling you on your shit? And I hate that we have to be that person. We have to always be like, oh, well, what's going to happen if I do this? Because we should be calling that shit out. Because the only reason these things continue to happen is because we never put a fucking end to it.
I think also people don't want to change. I feel like a lot, because people try, like, I remember this one girl, another black girl, I told her about the hair thing, and she's just like, you know, like, they just don't know any better. I wouldn't be mad about that. Like, I would tell them, like, how it's done. And I said, I get if you want to be educated. Like, maybe if you would have been like, I think your hairstyle is cool. How did you accomplish this?
That's totally different.
Yeah, like, but I'm like, nah, you really slick. How much
of this is your hair?
Yeah.
Are you trying to call me a bald-headed bitch? Like, what are you
and
really
if I was bald-headed,
say?
I'd be fucking cute. No, I got a big-ass head.
Fuck that. You still be cute.
But I just don't understand, like, I feel like also people are they're sympathizers with the shit. And I don't sympathize with the shit I can't.
Fuck that. I'm tired of being your fucking token for education. Get the fuck out of here.
My question is, like, you have more education than I do.
And I gotta teach you some shit?
Bro, what?
And you're the one working, that's my thing. You're the one working with my people and you don't even know what the fuck you're doing.
And I bet, and I 100% bet you that his degree is the same degree we got.
Yeah.
I know them classes were still available to him.
He got a master's?
Yeah, he got a master's. He got to have a master's.
I got more knowledge than he does. I'm just fucking
shit, we be doing their job for them anyway.
We literally do the job for them.
But that's a different conversation. Yeah. I think it's a lot of stuff. Like, this one girl, she got braids. She had braids in. One of the white BCBAs walks up to her and acts like they're fucking reins of a horse.
No.
And then she has like they're like the goddess braids, so the ends are curled. This bitch tries to braid the rest, talking about it's going to unravel. Bitch, that's how you know nothing about our culture. If you boil the shit, it seals it, you dumb fuck. Like, when I tell you, I got upset because she really walked up like she was a fucking animal. Like,
dude, but like, what the fuck is the obsession with? I'm not black, obviously. Well, not obviously because you can't see me, but I'm not black. And what the fuck is the obsession with like wanting to touch black women's hair, black people's hair in general?
This bitch did
like,
that to me last week.
I don't come up to your fucking greasy ass hair like, damn, let me see it. Now, if your shit looks silky as fuck, like, it might be a sensory thing for me. Like, sometimes I'm like, damn, but I'm not just gonna go up and touch your fucking hair.
This bitch did that to me at work. She's like, your hair, my hair's straight right now, for context. Like, I got it done last week, and
it looks great.
Thank you. She walks up to me. I'm walking in the hall. We're both walking with our kids or something. And she walks up and she's like, your hair, like, it looks so, like, nice. And proceeds to touch. And she's like, she was like, did you get it cut? And I'm like, yeah, she looks so healthy. In her hand, all up in my fucking hair, bro.
I hate that because, like, they're complimenting you when you have a Eurocentric image.
Yeah, nobody says shit to me when my hair is curly.
I do. Oh shit, I'm falling. I'm too excited. I do. All the fucking... I love to see your hair, like, when it's, like, super curly and kinky. I fucking love that shit. I think it looks so fucking cute. But I mean, your hair looks cute all the time. Like, you keep your hair chef's kiss.
But it's only when my hair, like,
looks like their hair type shit.
I've had, like, TAs and professors skip over me passing out papers because I changed my hairstyle and then come up to me and be like, oh, I didn't even recognize you. Motherfucker, my face looks the same. When you wasn't even wearing masks then, like, you got me fucked up.
Bitches be acting stupid.
Bro, I swear to God, like, they were looking around the classroom looking for me.
Dude, I'm sweating right now. Well, I sweat all the time, but I'm like fucking mad. Like, I want to... It's like... I think another reason why... So there's been various different types of microaggressions, and once you actually try to think of the examples, like, it's kind of hard on spot to think about them. Mm-hmm. And then once you get off the mic or you're not forced to think about it, you think of all of them. But I do know that one of the reasons that I, don't call it out, again, it can be, it can put you in, like, double-edged sword, like, if you do say something, etc. But also, like, it's uncomfortable, and there's times where I can't even talk to you about this right now because it's such a big trigger to where I might just go off on you. Like, I'm not the one. I'm not the one. Don't, like, certain situations where I'm like, I can't even call you out on this because I might have to disrespect you.
I mean, even like, my boss just 2 weeks ago told me I couldn't get lice because because of my hair texture and wanted me to go sit with a kid that had lice. I said no.
First off, dirty bitch.
Dirty bitch. I said, why don't y'all go I told her, I said, test your theory and you go sit with them. With your, what?
The fact that, like, that's... our jobs will really put us through some bullshit, like, and I can't help but think that it's because we are women of color that they're like, go ahead and, like, put yourself in that situation.
But if you also notice, like, a lot of our white therapists, like, co-therapists, like, they're in la la land. Like, we get the more aggressive kids, we get the more high behavior children, and everybody's noticed it. But it's also, I think...
We're also better, though. We're better, and then we're exploited because we're better.
But I feel like, also, we're exposed to it faster. You got put on one of the, probably the most aggressive, physically aggressive children, straight off the bat, as soon as you pass the test. Same goes for me. I had your kid after, when it was time when they finally decided to take you off of him, and they gave him to me. And it's like...
I don't know, man.
But I've had this conversation, like, with some of our co-therapists, and they're just like, yeah, like, it might also go into the fact that, like, when I have conversations with black women, like, they were like, black people don't feel pain, or we can handle more.
Man, that is a huge fucking, like, incorrect stereotype that bleeds into so many institutions. The medical institution, by far, is a huge one of them, where, you know, women and women of color are disregarded for the symptoms or the pain that they're saying. They're exaggerating it. And then this is the reason why black women have the highest rates of infant mortality, and what is the correct terminology for women that die during pregnancy? Well, y'all know what I'm saying. I just gave you the definition of it. There's a reason for that. It's one, literal negligence from doctors, and two, it's racially fueled.
But the racially fueled part of it goes into their negligence. Like, they don't go and check. Like, Serena Williams talks about this. She almost lost her fucking life after giving birth to her child because they didn't believe how much pain she was in. And I've had a conversation with a doctor at my school when I went to UC, and I was working at Einstein's Bagels, and we had like 2-hour conversation. He sat there and talked to me the whole time.
Dude, this is such a deep conversation. Like, we need to make a whole episode when it comes to, like, medical racism,
bro,
because that's what you have to go back, and you have to go back to, like, to the fucking root of but like, what is one of the biggest fuels? It's these images that have been instilled, not these images, these concepts that have been instilled to the people working in these institutions, where are predominantly, you know, white people, because they are the ones who have always had access to higher education, have had that generational wealth, and so they're the ones that are educating each other. But they're also coming from schools of schools of thought that view the the black man or woman as animalistic, as less humane, so they can handle more, thicker skin, etc.
It's all excuse.
This is some real shit that was put into medical
to make them feel better. That's the thing. You want to say that we're less than, and it's gone over and it's snowballed.
It's a way to justify, you know, the how poorly and inhumane black people have been treated. But it's been a fake, like, if you got to go back, like, I'm talking like way back, like early, I can't even think of the years right now, but like early medical stuff, like, they were trying to find every fucking way to quote unquote scientifically prove that the black man was, you know, bro, like, was better at taking certain things. Like, legit, dude, like, you look at medical books, historical medical books, and it's literally laying it out like, the black male has thicker skin, so therefore can handle being outside in the sun for multiple hours and being like, straight fucking bullshit. Just to one, like, oh, well, it's coming from the motherfucking medical institution, so it's gotta be valid. But really, you just want to justify being the shit out of a fucking human.
But that's the power of being able to give people that information. That's the power of it. Like, the fact that they're able to give people this information and people listen to it, it's like, our institution is fucking genius. It's evil as fuck, but genius. Like, I be sitting there looking at it like, wow,
you bitches really did that. Like,
yeah, like, I be like, and there's so many different layers, like, because once you start talking about one thing, you have to talk about another thing, you have to talk about another thing. But we digress. A lot.
I mean, like, in general, you guys, like, we're talking about fucking racism, and it's so difficult to only talk about one sector of racism without going and bleeding into the other parts, because it's all interrelated. It all influences each other, right? But, you know, we digressed slightly, but bringing it back, yeah, you know, what the fuck, shrugs, fuck it, like, it's still some good shit. These microaggressions, they are very common, you guys. Just think of those moments where you hear those comments that you're like, you know, you take a moment and you fucking look over, like, what did you just say? Like, yeah, bro. And you like, dude, so I was telling you guys last night, and this isn't, I was going to say, I guess it's not a microaggression, but I feel like it can be. So as I said, like, I use me being from a different country as a joke to justify my lack of knowledge in certain things. And also when I do make a fuck up and I just want to be like, I don't like to acknowledge that I'm wrong, so I blame it on something else. So I'll say shit like, oh, it's because I'm foreign, right? Like, oh, I can't read because I'm foreign. Like, I can read, but I do struggle sometimes to read certain things, and I do struggle to write certain things, and I don't know what certain words are because there is a cultural disconnect there. Like, I'm a Spanish-speaking native.
Bitch, you speak 2 languages. That's more than a lot of these motherfuckers in this country do. So,
very true.
That's why when somebody be tripping up on something, or I'm like, you speak more languages than I do.
Oh, okay. 2 things speaking of the language thing. So one of them, so this joke that I make, there is one, this is the thing. As minorities, I think when people aren't a part of these minority groups, they think it's okay to take our jokes or the way we are processing and also joke on it or use that since we've used it, right? So if I'm joking about my status or you know, my ethnicity, my nationality, yada yada yada, my sexuality, whatever it may be, and I make a joke out of it, I'm owning that because that's me, right? And then when a white person comes and they use that, or even another person comes and they use that same joke, it's like, it's not the same. You can't do that shit. You can't do that because it's one thing for me to joke about it myself, right? I'm aware of it, but that does not give you the right for you to go and talk shit about it or to use that because you think it's a joke. No, the fact that you don't recognize that it's not correct for you to say things like that. That's the whole point of this fucking problem, that y'all don't recognize that what you're saying is fucked up. My friend at work comes I hear her talking about the patient she was working with. Patient says, oh, she's like, hey, whatever, introduces herself. Patient's like, oh, you have an accent. This bitch doesn't have an accent. You've spoken to her. Yeah, do any of my friends have accents?
No, she ain't
no,
got no
not
accent.
One of those bitches have an accent. Not one of them says, I have an accent. And she says, props to her. She was like, it might come out sometimes. In that moment, I would have had to be like, give me a second, gone back into the fucking work. I can't work with this person. In that moment, bro, I would have been so fucking livid. You got me fucked up, you stupid bitch. I don't have a fucking accent. You're just looking for a fucking way to point some shit out and talk like negatively about me. And I know for a fact it was an older white person. You got me fucked up. I don't got to deal with this shit. Why do I have to give you a nice smiling face even though this is still customer service bullshit? I don't have to do that. Because the reason y'all keep saying shit like this is because we don't ever fucking say nothing about it. It's because it's uncomfortable. Oh, I don't want to say nothing about it. Because it's... Have these goddamn conversations. Make them feel uncomfortable. Make them feel bad about what the fuck they were saying instead of us feeling like shit for hearing it.
I've had a conversation with one of my coworkers that while I wasn't there, this one girl, so there are 2 white girls. I worked with a lot of white girls while I was at school. And this girl goes, and they're talking about feminism. And she's talking to one of the girls, and the other girl goes, you feminists are like the blacks. Like, y'all always complaining about something or waiting something that y'all don't work for. Swear to God. Swear to God. And so I wasn't there that day. So
what is this, 1944?
Bro, what? I done heard people like, I done been in classes and people be like, the blacks. And I'm like, the blacks.
Excuse me, bitch?
And then we got done with his presentation. I was like, yeah, just for you to be aware next time, especially when you're in a room full of black people, do not call us the blacks. Like, what the fuck, you about to go and get a black in my out? I'm about to go get a black? Like, what the fuck is this? We are black people. If you want to use, I'm not a big fan of African American, so I am black. I get it. But if that's how you want to identify, that's how you identify.
I actually would like to. So I
have that conversation.
Yes, I would. And there are multiple times that I've had to. So again, you guys. So we are upset about this because naturally this shit affects us, right? But also at the same time, at the end of the day, we are speaking about this, 1, to fucking talk about it, right? Like, push away from the taboo, and don't say anything, and 2, to fucking spread awareness, to start to educate each other. And I am not perfect. Although I like to think I am not. There have been multiple instances where I've had to adapt my language and learn and become educated and recognize that what I'm saying is incorrect. there was a point, just the same thing, in an academic environment. This girl was giving a presentation. She kept saying colored people, colored people, colored people. Now, this is a Middle Eastern girl. Now, I know for a fact that was that was ignorance. That was straight ignorance. She didn't know any better. But in that moment, I didn't even peep it. I didn't even peep it until our professor was like, I'm going to have to stop you right there. She's like, we don't say colored people. It's people of color. She was like, colored people is terminology that was used like during segregation type shit, right? Like adapting your language. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even pick up that she was saying it like that. I also wasn't paying attention to her presentation. But two, like I was like, holy shit. I've never actually said it. I've never even used those words that way. But I was like, holy shit, like, oh my God, like you need to be aware of that and never say it like that, right? And we do POC, we say people of color, and maybe that was because I was in college and I knew. But that's one example of me having to adapt and learn better. And also, like I will say right now, and I'm still embarrassed to this day, but growing up in high school and in middle school, bitch, we threw the N-word around like it was nothing. Like nothing. And we thought it was cool. We thought it was fine. Oh, you know, my black friend said it was cool. Oh, I'm not white. I can say it. Man, Latinx folk, if you're not fucking black, stop saying that shit. Stop saying that shit. Like, please stop saying it. And so, not until I was older, I remember there was two situations that made me wake up. I remember one of my friends, she was like, yeah, I don't say that. My mom doesn't let me say that. And so she would very rarely say it. And I was like, oh, okay. You know? And then there was one time where I also said it to somebody else. Like, we were just talking, and I was just like, da-da-da-da, and he was like, not even my mom says that to me. And I was like, Now okay, anyway. And then I had that epiphany, that like, the slap in the face where it's like, you dumb bitch. Like, if their parents don't even allow them, these are black people, if they don't even allow them to use that terminology, to even say that, what makes you think that you could use it? And that's when I was like, oh, and I like, it was that thing, well, it's not the same as saying it with the you know, the hardy R. I always think of that meme where it's that white man that's like, can you know,
yeah.
It's like, it was like, oh, it's not the same. We're not, because we knew, like, the other form is really bad. And it's like, no. It's just all bad. And the reason I'm sharing this, one, it's very embarrassing. And two, to apologize. And three, it's okay to recognize that you are doing something wrong. What you must do is adapt, become aware of it, and change things. Do not continue to perpetuate the same bullshit.
Or people, like, who feel like because you grew up with black people or around black people that you have a right to say it. And I'm like, damn, so you're black now? Like, just because you grew up around us?
No. No, you can't. And like,
or I grew up in the hood. Like, that's blackness to people. If you're hood or if you grew up in the hood, like, a lot of people associate that with black and being black. And I'm like,
I have a problem with that too.
I've had conversations in, like, my black community class where we've talked about how, like, just like them talking about black fathers, like, all the like, everything that people were naming out, like, when you think of black fathers, what do you think about? Everybody's, like, naming out negative things, like absent, aggressive, stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, my daddy cool. Like, right. I love my daddy. Like, I'm confused.
I'm looking at your guys' dads, and I'm like, man.
But black dads are the most present in their children's lives than any other demographic. They're so loving
and beautiful, and they're like, baby girl this, and you guys are like, daddy this, daddy that. Like,
I am a daddy's girl.
I'd be calling my dad by his first name.
Like,
no, I'm kidding.
That's my homie. So I feel like, I'm like, damn. But it's a lot of stuff that's perpetuated through society because, you know, all the dad jokes. Like, they're like, oh, like, what's the difference between a dad and an elevator? And it's like, elevator raises its children. Like, shit like that. Like, that shit's lame. And I'm like, black dads are actually
it's
more.
Not even a good joke.
It's not. And it's, like, my thing is,
stupid.
The statistics don't lie. Like, black dads are more present than any other demographic in their children's lives on a day-to-day basis. So, who's not raising their children? But also, we have to talk about systemic racism to where they lock people up for non-violent crimes and take slavery. People and take people away from their families.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then once you do fucking let them out, man, we're just talking about everything.
But you also got to talk about the family structure in the Black community, period, because throughout slavery, you also separated people from their families. So it was probably never a solid foundation to begin with, and we had to stick together regardless. So there's a lot of psychological things that have been passed on throughout time, that has been done throughout society, that you can't, because this country has never reformed or redone. It's just reinvented itself, and to be more.
I don't think
covert.
It's reinvented itself.
I think
it's I will say
think
reinvented. It's progressively adapted its image.
Yeah,
you know?
it's made it more covert.
Oh yes, overt. That's literally
covert.
what I was about to say. Like it went from straight up more covert to smaller or overt examples of racism. And covert means obvious, direct. Overt means indirect, more much more subtle.
There are some direct things still going on though.
There are very many direct things, i.e. Black and brown men and women being shot and killed by police officers. I don't know why there was a long pause, because I thought you guys would just know what I was saying, but you might not. No, for real, people might not, because there's
no, it's the way it's the way you pause, like we were talking to a live audience, like you're like,
this shit is live to me right now. And then there's over examples, which a current daily 20s struggle, as we were mentioning, is the Stop Asian Hate bill. If that's the correct name of the bill, I think I don't know. I actually did not.
I think when we were talking about it yesterday, I think somebody mentioned it was like the COVID-19, like that was like the official name, or something like
something else. So in short, like it was phrased that due to the like current uprise or like hate crimes towards Asian and Pacific Islanders, right? Mm-hmm. It's we are slapping wrists, hands if you are doing bad things to that demographic. Mm-hmm. And what is fucked up about that is that that shit was quick to get passed.
Lynching is still not a hate crime. In 2021, like, I wish y'all could see my face, because when I get mad, like, my upper lip goes up, like, I be really fucking, like, pissed about this shit, because, like so it's like, why the fuck is there so much pushback for you blatantly see people hanging from fucking trees and that's not a hate crime because of the color of their skin?
Matter of fact, I'm gonna call that I'm gonna call that direct fucking examples of racism. That's just not even over. That's just straight up obvious. Like, all right, because it happened to the white passing minority. Let's go ahead and pass this through as quick as possible.
I don't know about the white. I think it's the golden. Like that's
but
what
they are still white passing. A lot of if we're talking like Asian, like Chinese, Japanese, Pacific Islanders.
Are we talking about strictly from like skin color?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm thinking like as a whole, facial features, stuff like that. Like you're not white passing.
They're not.
And I guess if we're talking strictly,
I have a feel. Okay, so the way I see it, and now this can get very controversial, but the way I see it is that shit got passed faster because it happened to a person that looks more white. Your eyes might be a little bit different, other characteristics might be slightly different, but the skin is lighter
versus the people that are totally polar opposites.
Exactly. That's I can't help but see it like that.
I feel that. I can feel that.
That's not to say that there aren't some that are, have darker like skin tones, but a majority. And perhaps this is also my bias coming in, right? Like I'm only picturing a certain type of Asian.
Yeah, because maybe that's what the media also puts out, because they do that everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Pacific Islander, doesn't that technically like include like Filipino, Hawaiian? Am I tripping? I don't know my geography. We probably shouldn't be talking about shit if we're not fully educated on it. Fuck it.
I mean, we're talking about like the bill. We're not, but we can have an opinion on the fact that there are things that affect people in a way that like it's not like there's still lynchings going on. There were quite a few. What, a year or two ago? Quite a few. There was quite a few, and it's one of those things where
talk about, oh, it was suicide. Are you fucking shitting me? Who the fuck climbs this highest goddamn tree to go and commit suicide? Let's look at the goddamn statistics. Where do most suicides happen? How do they typically happen?
In your home.
Like, come on now.
Yeah.
And you know, like, the thing is don't get me wrong. It's not that we don't want these type of bills to be passed. It's not that we don't want these communities protected. No, by all means, pass this shit. The problem is that why wasn't all communities included? Why weren't all minorities of color included? Or not just minorities of color, but that there's literally trans men and women being killed. And
but that's also intersectionality too. Intersectionality, Jesus, because people try to act like there's also like people who are for like Black Power and stuff like that, but then try to leave out trans and gay communities, and I'm like, you can't do that because people still be Black. So just because you're gay or you're trans does not take away from your Blackness. Like, you can be multiple things. Like, oh, because I'm a woman, I can't be Black. Like,
no,
I just don't understand it. So,
man, okay, so we've been going for quite a bit of time.
We can, y'all have. I think they haven't even touched like how we are when we have like social like conversations, because we get so like our conversations about sex and stuff, they be real quick.
Yeah,
but like,
and I know y'all be listening like, and probably some of y'all too now probably won't get as many listens on this because this is the type of shit that y'all don't want to hear, and I respect that. Sometimes people don't want to be continuously facing the shit that they gotta face every day, but also sometimes people don't want to hear the reality of things, and so be it. We're gonna talk about it because this shit is real. And like, yeah, our whole thing was talking about microaggressions but we can't just talk. I mean, we could sit here and give you 1,000 stories of how our coworkers have said some bullshit, right? You know, of how our work environments have been threatened by us trying to, one, by our cultures, by what we look like, by making political statements, by backing certain movements, by overtly saying things. Like, I vividly remember at our old job when I was working with you, and like this new CM came through, and he was like, yeah, this is Stephanie, yada, 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 yada. She's da-da-da-da-da-da. Hypes up my skills as a therapist, and then also throws in there, she's really like, you know, she's really about politics, so she's really active, so, you know, she'll give you, like, kind of trying to throw dirt at me. Like this bitch might give you a little bit of trouble because she wants to be politically correct or etc. No, bitch. I'm a fucking activist before it. Well, no, not before anything. I think there's other things that I am before. But, like, at the end of the day, I'm for human rights. I'm going to call that shit out. And if that intimidates you, if that bothers you in a way, too fucking bad. And as we said last night, like, I think subconsciously I am okay with the consequences that come with it. Like, I am okay that if you don't want me in your fucking work environment, by all means, take me the fuck out, because I don't want to be here either. You got me fucked up.
You already know I'm quick. I'm quick to be like, I don't need this shit.
Right, you need me more than I need you. Come on now.
And I'll take
paying me for my time.
And I'll take these motherfuckers with me because they be ready to go too.
Right. Shit. So, I'm sure I'm willing to die for this shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't. Please, government, don't kill me. I'm not ready to die yet. You know, let me make some more.
You can't do that. It's revolutionary suicide. You will never ever be able to see the fruits of your labor. Never. That is the whole point of being a revolutionary. Yeah, you will never ever ever be able to see what you fought for.
No, but I'm not ready to die yet.
Ain't nobody.
I'm willing to die for it, but not yet. Let me make a bigger impact, please.
No, but in all reality, I think we need people to be more culturally competent. I feel like the fact that there's not a requirement for cultural competence to be taught, especially when you're working in environments that involve minorities and people who are different from you in the status quo. It is important to be educated on topics and to understand where people come from and why they would be offended about what you say and what you do.
Everybody needs to be educated
Oh,
on that.
everybody.
All backgrounds, all races, all groups. And also, yes, cultural competency is important, but I'm sorry, I don't want a white person teaching cultural competency.
Oh, no, you can't.
Because how the fuck you going to talk about something that you don't even experience?
Can't even do it, bro. I almost dropped the class because I thought my professor was white. My African American history class, she was black though, so it was cool. I was like, damn, I can't even sit here and learn African American history from you.
I had this white lady teaching ethics and diversity. But when Trump got elected and I sent her this video to play the day after, she didn't play it. She didn't even acknowledge my email. I said, bitch, that's why you got the motherfucker wearing a hat inside of our classroom. It was a lecture class. I was really ready to go off on that bitch. But anyway, that was a weird story. That made no sense. Yeah, please stop having white people talk about things that don't even affect them.
Don't.
Like, that's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. And even though there's, cultural competency, it needs to be created by people directly affected by it, and it needs to be taught by people directly affected by it. It can't continue to be made and taught by white people from the white person perspective.
But you can also teach somebody so much, and if they don't have that empathy in them to understand what's going on with somebody else, they're never going to get it.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, a lot of times I'd be like, fuck this shit. Like, why do I need to say something to you? Because you don't give a fuck what I'm about to say.
You're right. Even people of color still still don't have a hard time empathizing because sometimes it doesn't directly affect them. So they're like, no. But, oh man, we're at 45 minutes.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up.
We got to wrap it up. Wrap it before you tap it. So, yeah, this is where we're at.
I'm a little hot. I think we're going to have this conversation when we get off the mic. Cause
I'm definitely sweating a little bit, a lot. It's some real shit, we rambled a lot, you guys. We went from A to D to F to W to back to P. But the point is I hope you at least can get the emotion that comes out of our conversations. If you can't keep up with us, understand our distress, our anger, our frustration towards these things, right? It's different talking to each other about it. And it's a lot different talking to somebody else that doesn't face these things, but at least we want to make you more alert to it. We want to make you alert, like start peeping at work or at the restaurants. I be peeping how they treat my dad and my mom at restaurants because they don't speak the language, or because my dad is that typical Mexican looking man with the thick black mustache, thick black eyebrows, sometimes likes to wear his hat, and they be trying to treat him like shit. And I just be waiting, like do some off the wall shit, bitch, because I will pop the fuck off. I'm telling you, I've reached a point where I'm just waiting for someone to push me. That penguin that's like, don't push me because I'm by the edge. I'm right there, bro. I'm right there. I'm waiting for someone to come just so that I can just explode, because I'm tired of just dealing with it. So, we're fucking tired.
You already know I'm confrontational, so I get right up with you.
I've never grown up to be like that. I've always been told to like stay in your place and be quiet.
You see my house. We aggressive with each other. Can you imagine a motherfucker off the street? I said, oh, you want to do me? Do you really want to?
Are you rubbing off on me?
Hopefully.
Is this why I'm like...
Shit, I hope so, because I'd be like, don't let me reach in my motherfucking bag on you.
Dude, this bitch the other day, I was going to get food, and the dumbass bitch, like, pulled in into the driveway as I was trying to pull out, and she, like, literally blocked the whole thing. And I made this face, like, the fuck are you doing? Like, I was literally trying to get out. All you had to do was a little bit further right, and you would have made it through. And she made this, like, dumbass face to me. White little bitch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't even mean to say it like that. It was this white girl. She was real young looking. It looked like she went to college around here. When I tell you, most of the time, I keep my, because I've had bad altercations on the road, but she did some shit where I was like, I can't get through. My window was still up. And she did something, like, she made, like, a little smart-ass, like, little face. She did some shit that really pissed me off. Like, I shouldn't even been that mad. I rolled my window down. I said, you're in the fucking way. She's like, oh, let me move for you. I said, yes, bitch. Like, you.
That's the thing. They don't be prepared for us to say what the fuck we got to say.
And then they be shocked when you overreact or some shit.
Because we not docile. We supposed to be docile, and it's like I'm not. One thing,
you're in the wrong. Second, you're white, so you're a trigger. Third, I've been looking to pop off, and if this is the situation,
not you a trigger. You as a person is a trigger.
They are.
I feel that.
I'm sorry. Like I have some white coworkers. I fuck with them. They're cool people, and they listen to my shit. I think so. They're cool. They don't fuck with me, so I'm cool. But you say some off the wall shit to me, or you because I've had too many of these situations. I've had too many. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yep.
It's just, I think we're just tired.
Bro, I done been called a nigga to my face with the hard ER, not a nigger. Like, I done had from the time I've had it happen multiple times, but like I remember as a child, that's one of the biggest things. Like, we were in Kentucky, like at a buffet, like driving through, eating, we with our families, and he's like, these niggers in here, and I'm just like, bro, what?
You know what my brain is envisioning? It's like, that's very violent. I'm not even gonna go there.
Bro, I already, because if it's me, 23-year-old Micaiah, you wouldn't even get the ER out your fucking mouth. And then what? Now your mouth bleeding. Say something now.
For a second, I was like, the emergency room out of their mouth? That doesn't make sense.
No,
I got it.
You bleeding out your mouth now? Say something. Motherfucker. Nigga who? Nigga where? Me. What? Because I be so like, it's one of those things that, and I be trying to be like, the word shouldn't have that much power over you, but don't have that shit come out your mouth, bro. And don't be expecting my foot to be so far up your ass I can make you talk. Like, don't make me that mad.
For real. Like, they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They know what they're doing.
You thought you was gonna get over on me with that.
Anybody, all people that do some fucking racist shit, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. My sister, you know what I thought about? One of my sisters tried to call me racist. She was like, you're racist towards white people. I said, okay. That's cool by me.
But that's the thing. People be trying to like think we're supposed to act and be and think.
You want me to lick the oppressor's feet.
But the thing is,
kiss their hand.
We would never be them.
You want me to kiss their ass. You got me fucked up. For them to keep stomping all over me, for them to keep using me and exploiting me, I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
All right, y'all. We done really like rambled. Y'all done stayed with us. Damn.
51 minutes, 49 seconds. Ay. Well, I think this is a perfect example of what Sweet 20s can be like. We can talk about some wet ass pussy to fucking like.
We got layers.
Down with the system, goddammit. Down with the system.
We got layers. I mean, smart bitches have sex too.
Smart bitches be the freakiest.
Take off them glasses and go to work.
The other day, I excel in academia. Yeah, take off those glasses. Bitch, I'm that sexy school girl. Let's play out that fantasy. Come on now. My 4 eyes and I will have...
Shit fogging up. Get too hot. I cannot.
Okay. All right, y'all. Well, it's been real. This was fun. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If not, I don't give a shit. We don't give a shit. We don't give a fuck.
Just join back in. We're going to be talking about something else next week. So,
yeah.
Hop on in. You know what these topics are about, and they get a little long-winded sometimes.
Yeah.
But
how are we going to label? What's the taste for today's episode? I'm going to say...
kind of salty.
It's salty. Oh, it's real salty.
Yeah. It's just salty. I feel that.
Very salty. Yeah. Well, stay up, everyone. And until next time, toodaloo.
See y'all.